Welcome to the mid. 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 You're listening to the mid.
Here we go again. When?
Here we go again. Episode 7.
Ooh, are you going to count every episode? Like if we get to 152, are you going to be like, here we go, episode 152? Yeah. Really?
I am.
All right. Okay.
I am.
Okay. I leave the counting to you. Oh, I think we had a really exceptional one last week. We've gotten nothing but great feedback on the conversation. I think it definitely piqued a lot of interest and certainly has been on the minds. The topic has been on people's minds. So that was really great. And thanks again to Anya for being so honest.
Yeah, that was wonderful. That was a really good episode. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
It was, and I'm also very excited that it launches us into some guests. So once a month, we're going to have some special guests. Next month, I think we're looking at closer to the end of the month, and I'm super excited about that. And then we're going to have a bit more of a provocative guest, I believe, in March. So I'm looking forward to that too. Lots of cool topics to come.
Yeah.
So I need to say something.
Okay.
I have to come clean about something.
Oh.
So because especially after I went on a bit of a rant about social media, I have a bit of a confession to make, and I don't like carrying secrets, but...
What could that be, Teresa?
Well, I don't know if anyone can hear it in my voice, but I've been a little under the weather, and I had a couple days at home last week, and I fell victim to Instagram and Reels, which you may or may not have noticed from the
messages.
I think there was like 8 in one day.
When I got them, though, I literally clapped. I was like, yay.
It's like I rediscovered the joy of Reels, and I was laughing. Oh my God, there was one I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. And so it did the trick, and I was like, oh, Wendy's right.
That's what I meant
damn it.
by yeah, you can just have some mindless fun with it, right?
And I had to then kind of moderate myself, though, because then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, that was a lot of time that just passed. So
yeah,
both. I would say my former view still stands, but not as strongly, because I also had a lot of fun last week, a lot of mindless entertainment. When what else was I going to do but sit there and either watch crap TV or scroll? So
yeah, it's a time and a place.
Yeah. The place was my couch. The time was 3 days.
3 days.
Well, you can attest to that. And I didn't know I wasn't going to be sold out. So I'm going to come forward and confess this off the hop. So there you go.
Good for you.
Thank you. I feel better now. Off my chest.
Good. Let it go.
Yeah, I'm done already. This week is my turn.
It is.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring up something we've talked about before.
Okay.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a heavy topic. It can be fun, but I think it'll be it's an insightful topic as well. So I want to ask you about teachers in your life, and primarily grade school teachers, but it can also go into high school. But I know in the past we've had brief conversations about grade school teachers and the impact they've had in your life, both good and bad, because I think both can be as powerful. So I want to talk to you about the impact at the time in your life, and then what that's gone on to represent in your life.
Oh, good.
Like as an adult, when you reflect on it.
Okay. So what would be like your question in terms of like, is this just a topic we're going to go over, or?
Yeah. Well, tell me about the teachers that had the most impact in your life, both good and bad. Like you can have multiple stories. You can do whatever you want, really, but just, the ones that stand out. You can use names here, I think, too, because why not? Yeah.
Why not? In elementary school, 100% without a doubt, the teacher that will always and has always stood out in my mind is Mrs. Redmond. She was amazing to me. And I just remember her, God, every day she'd drive up in her Jaguar. She was always so fancy, right? Like she always had
great hair. It was like sculpted.
Blouses. Yeah, sculpted hair, beautiful earrings, wonderfully decorated blouses. Like she was just
she was chic, put together.
Right?
Yeah.
She was. And you would think, well, no, I guess you wouldn't think, but some might have been more maybe not leaning towards her as kids. Okay, so as kids, you may not lean towards a teacher who puts out that sort of
Fancy vibe?
Yeah, fancy vibe. That's the word.
I knew it.
But like kids generally, I know a lot of people liked Mr. McLaughlin, right? Like they loved him for some reason. They all called him
Was
Sir, I
he
think.
the gentleman from Newfoundland with the big bushy mustache?
Yeah, he had the big, I didn't know he was from Newfoundland, but he had a big bushy
Yeah.
mustache.
He
Yeah.
had a really strong accent.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't have him as a teacher. Like we were split classes a lot, right?
I don't think I did either. I know who you're speaking about, but yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure you had an accent. Anyway, yeah.
So, and this is from St. Mark's School in Stouffville, Ontario, for our listeners.
Yes.
So Mrs. Redmond gave me attention that nobody else ever did. Nobody else, right? Like all of my schoolwork, she'd give me a little extra attention without, I think, even making any other student realize that she was, right? So much so that when it came time for we went to Quebec. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I sure do. Grade 7. Yeah.
Yeah. And I went and had a great time, whatever, came back, only to find out a couple years later that my mom never paid for that trip because we could never afford that. Nobody in the family paid for it. Mrs. Redmond, it came to our realization that she actually paid for it.
And you don't know how that works? Like with your mom? Did you talk to your mom about it?
I did. And she didn't know much about it. And she was like, well, I never paid for that. And somebody, I can't remember who, but somebody came up to me and told me that she actually paid for my trip.
Wouldn't your mom have to know? Like, wouldn't she have had to sign a form or?
Yeah. No, yeah. She
Yeah.
signed papers she gave permission.
Okay.
But she
Yeah.
never paid for it.
Isn't that awesome?
To this day, that is my belief based on what I was told that she paid for the trip. I could be wrong.
What a classy lady. What a classy
Yeah.
lady, both in dress,
Oh, yeah.
drive, and actions.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then in high school, we went to Markville Mall, I think in grade 10. And I was so proud of myself for getting a good mark that we ended up seeing her shopping in Markville Mall. And I ran up to her and I was like, Mrs. Redmond, I got an 80 in math. I think it was my only 80 in math. She was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I loved her. I absolutely loved her. What about you?
Did you ever connect with her again?
No.
Like through social
No,
media or
and
anything?
you know, I looked for her too, and no, I couldn't
No
find
sign
her.
of her.
No.
Do you know what's funny? So the other day, I have all of these old photos from grade school because in grade 8, another classmate and I did a slideshow presentation. I don't know if you remember that, where we literally
Yeah.
I had a little handheld video camera and we took stills. No, we took video of still photographs, one after another, taped to a wall until we made this very, raw video to commemorate
Right.
all the years we spent at St. Mark's.
Yeah.
And so I was going through pictures the other day because I sent you a couple,
Yes.
but I have a picture of Mrs. Redmond and Mr. McLaughlin hugging.
Oh, really?
I do. I should send it to you.
I would love to see that. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I'd love to look at that when I come next month.
Yeah. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that was a huge mustache. How do we even see his lips move? I'm trying to think. I was thinking about this and it was making me laugh. So Ms. Gross, who was later Miss Clapp, do you
Okay.
remember her?
Yeah.
That would have been grade 2 or 3. I don't know, 2 or 3. So I have really lovely memories of her. I remember her being really warm, and she was the first teacher that took an interest in my writing and encouraged me to write. And I had written a little story around Christmas from the perspective of a Christmas toy, like a cat. I don't know, some cat figurine. I don't know. And she really loved it and encouraged me, and was a warm and lovely teacher. But then my other memory of her is when I got in trouble. I won't get into the story because it's super embarrassing, but we got in trouble.
Well, now I want to know the story.
Well, over some hijinks that happened because I had a really big crush on a kid in school, and his brother and my next door neighbor at the time wrote a letter to me as if it was from him and made me think I was going out with him, whatever that meant, in grade 2 or 3 or 4, whatever grade we were in. And my best friend at the time, then my next door neighbor, not my real best friend when you were my best friend, but my best out of school friend
Yeah.
lived next door to me at the time and didn't go to the same school. She went to Orchard Park across
Mm-hmm.
town. And I guess she was supposed to tell me before the next day, before I
Right.
got to school, that it was a joke. And it looks like it was so, I can still see it in my head. It was so believable. And I had such a crush on this kid that I thought, oh my God, like this is the best thing that could
Oh
ever happen to me.
God. And she
So I
never
went
got to
into
tell you.
school the next day, or she could have told me. I don't know. Not that I'm still holding a grudge, but I mean, I don't know if it was intentional or not. And his brother and I weren't close. He was older, so he didn't talk to me about it. So the next day I went to school armed with this letter, thinking like, look at me now. I'm dating this kid.
Oh
Isn't this
God.
fantastic? And I showed the letter to anyone who would look at me.
Oh
So
no.
by the time we got into line for the beginning of school, remember how we'd line up outside and then line up
Yeah.
inside? There was all of this hoopla around this letter, and the kid was crying. This is the kid's reaction to having to date me. He's burst into tears. He's freaking terrified at the thought. And so Ms. Gross wants to know what the heck is going on. And she's so confused by it all. I just remember, and we were lined up. Remember, and I always remember that school as being like kind of dark, like the hallways by the
Yes,
library.
it
There was no
was.
natural light there for some reason,
No,
like a little
no.
prison. Anyway, we're all lined up there, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. But I remember her spanking us. She lined us
What?
up and spanked us for, I don't know
What?
what, for disrupting the peace. I don't know, where she was just so confused. She didn't know what else to do. And I'm not talking like severe, but we all got a whack on the bum. Like it was
Really?
like systematically had to line up and get smacked on the ass. Like it's incident.
Those were the days, man.
He's crying. I'm probably crying. I'm mortified. I remember that feeling of just being mortified. Anyway, so, that's such a, can you imagine now your
Oh
daughter
my
comes
God.
home and says, I was spanked at school?
I know. I know. I
Talk
was just
about
thinking that.
the sign that the things were very, very different at some
Very
point. Like,
different. Yeah.
oh my Lord. Yeah. So I have very fond
Wow.
memories of her, but I laugh now. I laugh every time I think of it. I laugh and am simultaneously still humiliated. But yeah, that was probably my most memorable
Maybe he
tears of
was
joy.
crying.
No, I saw him after that. There was no there was no mistaking his fear.
Really?
No, and we became good friends afterwards, and I
Yeah.
think we even
I mean,
made out in
kids,
high
fucking kids are
school. I
cruel,
mean,
eh?
yeah. Yeah.
Kids are
And
cruel.
he knows who he is if he would listen to this, but he was a real bad kisser in the end, so I missed out on nothing. Anyway, moving right along. And then Mr. Goitis, grade 5. I loved
Oh,
Mr.
Mr.
Goitis.
Goitis.
I loved him. He was a
He
kind
was a
man and a
good
funny
teacher.
man. Yeah, he was. He was just like a natural. He should have been a teacher. He was a teacher. He was really good with us. He was another one. Like he always encouraged me to write, and he was just kind. Nice
Yeah.
guy.
I remember there was a father-daughter dance or something. We were, I don't know, we were having some sort of
Really?
elementary. Yeah, there was like an elementary, I don't know if it was grade 8 graduation. It might have been.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Or I don't know what it was, but there was like a dance in the gym. And there was a father-daughter dance. And so all the fathers were dancing with their daughters. And of course, I don't have a daddy. So I'm standing there and my mom's
You're like, who's my
telling
daddy?
my
Who's my
brother.
daddy?
So my brother's there. And so my mom's telling him, Billy, go dance with your sister. And I'm like, oh, fuck, don't make him dance with me. Please, for the love of God, don't make him dance with me.
He
Right?
would have hit you while he was dancing with you.
Yeah, no kidding. And anyway, so sure enough, Mr. Goitis comes up and offers to dance with me. It was really
Aw.
sweet. Yeah. I actually can't remember if I did it or not, but it was really sweet. I remember him asking me. I really can't
Aw.
remember
There
if
were
I
some good
danced or
people
not.
there.
There
And
were.
then I think the last was Mr. Japlitsky, our grade 8 teacher. I liked him too. Were you in grade 8 with me?
No, I didn't have that class. I didn't
Who
have
did
him.
you have?
I don't know. I can't remember. I honestly don't remember who I had in grade 8. That's weird.
Well, they couldn't have been that good.
Yeah, they didn't leave an impression.
No. I remember asking him a lot of questions because at that point, well, it wasn't then. I will tell you when I started to question the Catholic religion was Father Adams. No
Oh,
holds barred, worst priest I've ever met in my entire life.
ever.
Do not like that dude.
Ever. every Wednesday he came to the school, right? Like, okay, so the church was literally maybe a 3-minute walk, right? Like it was like on the same grounds.
The church used to be held in the gym before you came, and then they built the church right
Oh,
next door.
really?
Yeah, on purpose. Like it was
I
all
didn't
one
know
big.
that.
Yeah.
Wow. So I came in grade 2. I
Yeah.
think mid-grade 2. Yeah. And so every Wednesday, this Mr. Father Adams,
I thought you were going to call him Mr. Fuckface.
or that, would come over and talk, like give a little, I don't know, I guess religious lesson or something to our class.
Shame and condemnation. That's all it was.
Yeah,
Shame
no
and
kidding.
condemnation.
I don't know if you remember this, but he used to threaten the shit out of us, right? Like he would be like, if I hear any of you talking or saying bad words and, and whatever, lying and cursing and all this stuff, I will cut your tongues out. Like he literally used to threaten our body parts that he was going to cut them off.
What a kind man.
The shit out of me. My God, this guy. And then we'd go, every 3 months or 6 months or whatever it was for confession, right? And I had the same confession that I remember to this day that I would say to him. And it was, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been whatever amount of time since my last confession, and here are my sins. I tell lies. I say bad words. I'm not very nice to my mother, and I'm not very nice to my brother. It's the same one every time, and never failed. He would sit there in his little dark little cubby hole, and he'd be like, oh, and just shake his head, right, in disdain, like I was disgusting, right? And he'd give me like the worst freaking penance. I'd have to do like 4 freaking Our Fathers, 6 Hail Marys.
I used to tell him stuff he didn't know what to say because I had older brothers. So I'd find their condoms and play with them. I'm like, I'm not sure if I should be doing this, but I've been playing with my brother's condoms.
You confess that?
Yes. Poor guy. The loser he had no idea what to say. It was hilarious. I know that I was doing a lot of penance though. Anytime I went in, I'm sure I came to him with bizarre things like that. He's like, "Oh shit, what am I gonna do with her?" Oh, and he was horrible. Anyway, he was a horrible man. But I remember Mr. Chaplitsky. I would ask him questions because I said, "How can you subscribe to this?" Because I thought he was kind of a cool guy, right? And I'm like, and he was even, I don't know, he was talking to how he was still involved in the church, and he's like, he was the first person that told me it was okay not to believe everything.
Really?
Yeah, he said there's parts you might like of the church. It's comforting. It reminds you maybe, of it should be a place of safety and a place where you feel good and well and taken care of. And he said, if you don't like all parts of it, you kind of take what you want from it and use that it should help to make you a better person.
Wow.
Yeah. So he kind of gave permission not to subscribe to the entire doctrine of the Catholic Church, which I needed at that point. The other thing he said to me is, you look better when you smile. I don't know if that was creepy.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh
he
my
said,
God.
You should really smile more. You look much better when you smile.
Oh God.
Yeah, I don't know if that was kind or not when I look back at it now, but anyway, I'm trying to I don't think in high school I had anyone that stood out. I had some bad teachers. I think, in high school too, we were taught math by the gym teacher. Like I don't think they had a really big budget for faculty or something.
Mr. Fletcher taught me history, geography, gym, and math.
He was also crazy, like fun, but crazy.
Yeah. But I did like Mr. Denier. Did you ever have him for English?
It sounds familiar, but I don't think so. I liked Mr. Boyd. I liked our music teacher, Mr. Boyd.
Oh, he intimidated me. He scared me.
He was loud, but I think he had to be loud in band. Like, I mean, it was super loud. You had to be louder than band.
No, he was just always disappointed in me because I always got the freaking flute and I didn't want to learn the flute. And so when it came to time for exam, it was just him and I, right? Like you'd go in and it's just the two of you and you'd have to like play the flute. And I didn't study it. I didn't know anything about it. And I would just be like, toot. And he'd just be like shaking his head, looking down like,
this is what my life is.
More fucking disdain for Wendy.
Oh, that's funny. I can still play the Superman theme on the flute. If you gave me a flute, I could probably still play it.
Really?
Can you read my mind? Can you feel my mind? Anyway, yeah, that song.
Wow.
Actually, it was on a band trip, I think grade 9, that we met Will Smith, Philadelphia.
No way.
You should have been part of the band.
Yeah. Every time we did a Christmas thing, I'd go up on stage. I think this was elementary though. Same thing with the recorder. Like I'd pretend. I'd just sit there with the recorder and just move my fingers. Like I didn't blow nothing. I just sat there. My mom would come and watch, waste her fucking time. Just pretending. I'm just pretending to.
Maybe you should learn now. We can have a band.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm good with the
band.
ukulele, so
I'll play flute accompaniment.
Flute and ukulele. There we go.
Be one sad duo, ukulele and flute.
We need to make it work.
Well, it'll have to be the one song I learned in band.
Okay. Well, you can teach me.
Okay. I'll get right on that.
But yeah, Mr. Denier was great in English. He's the one who got me more. I was writing before that, but he really gave me a little bit more confidence in my writing. There was this project called Who Am I? And I let it all out. I wrote everything. It was this long, it was almost like, I don't know, it must have been half a novel. I wrote this huge thing. Yeah. And handed it in. I was really nervous to hand it in because I thought, oh God, did I babble too much or something, you know? And he kept me after class one day and he said, listen, he said, I'm putting you in advanced English. He said, based on this, you need to be in advanced. And that gave me everything. That was like, oh my God. I mean,
what, you liked my memoir?
Yeah. I was flunking everything. I had no confidence, right? And he just boosted it. He was a really cool guy. I liked him for that.
So what do you think then, going back to impact, what do you think that was the lasting gift, I guess? Like what is the impact that's continued through your life from having these teachers show kindness?
What is it for you?
So, you know what? It's really important for kids to be seen. I think it's really easy for teachers. I think it can be a pretty thankless job at times, especially I can't imagine doing that for the number of years that people actually do it, right?
Oh my God. I don't even know how they do it.
To have a teacher that has an eye for a kid that might need that extra bit of encouragement or attention or sense that something's not 100% at home, or certainly that you're not, enjoying much popularity at school, that they spend that little bit of extra time with you. It's just, it's that feeling. I remember feeling a little bit special or a little bit seen, or someone just pointing out your talent or something that's unique about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I think it was really that impact. The impact of a bad teacher can be detrimental. And I don't think that I had a specifically horrible teacher, but I had teachers that cared less. And certainly one of my kids has had horrible teachers. He just had the worst luck, like teacher after teacher. And it definitely shaped his learning experience. And I think the impact of that, I feel as strongly as I do today as I did when he was in grade 2, and some of the things the teacher would say or the way that he was, treated in class. I still think that impact stays with him, and it certainly stays with me. And it makes you appreciate the teachers that take the extra time. One of my kids, like one of the teachers, I still am friendly with one of my kids' teachers, and I constantly tell her like the difference that makes in a kid's life, that they felt seen and heard and pushed a little even, right? To say, you're amazing at this, you're going to succeed at this, keep going.
Yeah. No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that's really it, probably for me. You're much more eloquent at saying it though, but is being seen. I think especially that for me probably resonates the most, because it was a time where I really didn't feel seen at all, with all the trouble going on with my brother and, constantly in trouble with the cops and then, school and whatever and drinking and stuff. And it was a moment for me. And to this day, I don't forget, like in every detail, I remember everything right about Mrs. Redmond. And honestly, she really was probably the biggest impact out of all the teachers I had. And she left an impression on me that I carry now to this day, for sure.
Aww.
And it's teachers are so undervalued, right? Like once your child is school age, they literally spend most of the time with your child.
Your kids. And your kid's one of how many others. I think people say they value teachers. I think people don't understand the impact a teacher can have, both good or bad, right? And I think too, it's a really hard gig now when they're not allowed to do a lot. And that's the feedback that I've heard from friends of mine that are teachers, is that they feel like they're not allowed to do or to influence as much as
they're
teachers
walking on
maybe would have.
eggshells.
Yeah. And I think that really takes away from their ability to impact.
Yes.
Because they're working in fear of saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing, or, they're cautioned all the time.
Yeah.
And that kind of puts these handcuffs on them where they're not able to effectively teach, right? Because it's not just about the curriculum. It's about using moments in the classroom to teach, using moments in real world. But you're not allowed to address certain things unless it's done in a very specific way. So it's almost like they've been muzzled, right?
Yeah.
To a certain point. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to hear people's stories of our kids, like what their most impactful teachers were, because I think they deal with a lot more now. I think times have, like, there's never mind, is there no spanking anymore? Which is probably for the best.
Thank goodness for that one.
That's probably for the best, but it's also, there's such carefulness around dialogue as well. I think people are scared.
Yeah. What do you think are some of the topics like that they can't talk about?
I just think they're plentiful. I don't know. It's not because I have strong opinions about these things, but I think there's so much happening so quickly in media, and I don't know how they're allowed to address that. I mean, they've given some, I don't know if it's the same in Quebec, but the phones have been banned, but you're not allowed to actually take. And the problem is too, kids, I think, are more entitled. So
yes,
you can't take my phone. You can't do this. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, unfortunately, they're either backed up by the school board or by the parents, right?
Yeah.
And I think parents helicoptering haven't done teaching any favors, because the teacher should have some amount of authority and they should have some power to correct behavior. And I don't think they have any that there's a big area between spanking and correcting behavior, but I don't think that they have that ability anymore. So I think it's just a very different time.
So what happens then, as an example, in a classroom, say high school? That's probably something I could ask Emily, but what happens if you have one kid who's being completely irrational, misbehaving, swearing, whatever? Like, what is the teacher able to do?
I guess they can send them to the office. I mean,
that's pretty much it.
I think what I hear is that a lot of times that'll happen if a parent gets involved. They're like, yeah, so, or like, there's just a lot more nonchalance about behavior now.
Okay.
I don't know. It's been a while since, I've had kids in school, obviously, in the last 5 to 10 years, but I think I'd get calls about one of them around marks. Ironically, I got calls once because one of them was playing with condoms in class in grade 9. I'm like, oh, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But I was also like, well, you have bowls of them. I said, if that's the only way that he's using them, I'm pretty pleased right now. So maybe I was one of those parents. And like, he put it on the end of his pencil and shot it across the room. Disruptive, yes. Inappropriate, yes. But if that's what he's doing with condoms, hey, wonderful. Win for me. Like, well, and she called me. I'm like, so what did you do? And she's like, I sent him to the office. I said, okay. So what would you like me to do? I said, maybe don't have bowls of them in the library. I said, what do you think a grade 9 kid's going to do with
it? Do they really?
Yeah.
I guess they do now, eh? God, times are different.
Of course, grade 9 boys grab like a pile of them and they're playing with them in an innocent way.
Back in our day, that would have been really handy.
Yeah, they certainly were. Not at St. Mark's anyway.
Not Father at St. Adams. Mark's, not an elementary.
Leaving confession, and don't forget your complimentary condom.
Oh, my penance next week is going to suck.
But here's to teachers.
Yeah.
May they continue to impact. Yeah. And I have amazing friends that are teachers and amazing teachers and really impactful. I'm thinking of one right now who's just like, who taught really high risk, difficult kids, new immigrants who had seen horrific things in the countries they had come from. And my friend was just phenomenal from every report that I've heard or every interaction he'd had, like very impactful and well-deserved early retirement. Amazing job. Like, I really have nothing but pure respect for good teachers.
Yeah, absolutely. Same. And God bless their patience. Honestly, I don't know how they do it. I could never do it. I literally could not do it.
No. I remember standing in the hallway outside of one of the kids' classes, and I used to go and help it, when I was not working full time or had a day off. And I remember just being surrounded by a swarm of like grade probably 6 to 8s and I just looked at the teacher and like, I have no idea how you do this. I work with seniors. I'm like, put me in a room with a bunch of seniors. I will take that every time.
Yeah.
Every time. And they deal with your kids' hormones and their moods and their smells and
oh God. Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know how they do
I don't know how. Yeah.
But kudos to them.
Kudos to them. It's your turn next week, Wendy.
It is my turn next week.
Do you already have your question?
I don't.
You don't? I was stumbling along with another question, and I am going to ask it later. It's also a good one, but this one came to me because I was thinking about teachers this week. And
That's a good question. That was a nice little reminisce as well.
Yeah.
I like that. That was fun. But yeah, so next week is my turn, and who knows what the question's going to be because I don't, but we will find out.
Have we had any other listener questions?
So we do actually have a listener question. And we have a location. It's Paul from Norway.
Oh, I was going to do it. What's a Norway accent? Ah.
We're going to do accents now?
I don't know. I don't know a Norwegian accent.
Good. What is that? No, what's this one? Like, would you like some apple strudel? Is that Norway or is that?
Don't know what that is. That's a
Swiss strudel. German.
Swiss.
No.
Would you like? I don't know what it was. I really don't.
Okay, it's from the land of Wendy.
Yeah, your accents are a mixed. They're really big on racial diversity because one sentence of your accents can span at least 6 different nationalities. So
it's true. It's true.
Okay, what's Paul from Norway? What's he want?
He actually asked us a would you rather, and it's nice and light and fluffy. He asked us, would we rather pizza or pasta?
Ooh. So I'm about to head to Italy in a couple of weeks.
You are.
I have a surprise gift, so I'm very excited. So this question is going to become not so light and fluffy for me. It's going to become one of major importance. Well, I'll have to make this decision at every meal.
Pizza or pasta? What are you going to do?
Pasta.
Yeah.
100% pasta. Yeah. I love pasta.
Me too.
Pasta. Love it.
Was that a song? Pizza, pasta,
pizza, pizza pie. It is now.
Get the flute.
I'm going to do it. I'll get the accordion for that one, I think. I think if I was to have to pick one food to have for the rest of my life and like nutrients be damned because I don't think it would be very healthy to live just on pasta, it would be 100% pasta.
Me too. 100%. Although as of late, I have been craving pizza, but that's a one-off. Honestly, I go for pasta like 90% of the time.
I love pizza. I just don't love it as much as I love pasta.
Yeah.
I will. You know what, Paul from Norway? I'm going to answer that again when I come back from Italy.
Yes. Oh, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, this has been a whopper of an episode. It opened with a true confession, followed by fond school memories.
Yes.
And a food song.
Yeah. Yes. That we need to record.
That's right. I can't wait. Well, we do have a theme song coming our way.
We do. A professional one.
A professional musician in the friend family who's coming up with a theme song for us. Very excited about that. Can't wait to debut it. Maybe we'll even have the creator on one day to say a couple words about it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be very cool. Yeah. Well, we did it again.
We did. Episode 7.
Time for housekeeping.
Okay. So if anybody has a question they want to ask us, you can send us an email at themidconversations@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on our Facebook page, and the handle is @midpodcast, or on our Instagram and YouTube, it's @themid_podcast. Please reach out to us.
Please subscribe and like us and rate us.
Yes, please rate us on Spotify. We only have 3 ratings so far, but our followers are gaining and nobody's rating us. So we would love to see your ratings. And your questions can be exactly that, like Paul from Norway. Send us a would you rather.
Keep it simple.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be a
Go deep. Keep it simple.
Yep. Anything. Ask us anything and we will ponder it on our show.
And I would say if it's a really good question, actually, though, I'll never see them because you get them. If it was a really good one, you could steal it, I was going to say, but I guess that would be you stealing it, which is fine.
Well, I wouldn't do that to our listener.
Why? If it's a really good question, it might be the main question. Why not? Let them have it.
Oh, yeah. Still give them props.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah. So send me the questions.
And let me struggle. Sounds awesome. All right, Wen. Until next week.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in to The Mid.
See you next week.
The Mid.